Welcome to another episode of the Kashmir Notebook, a special Frontline broadcast with Gowhar Geelani. We have with us Mr. Tanvir Sadiq, who is not only the member of Legislative Assembly Jammu and Kashmir from the Zadibal constituency in Srinagar, but he also heads Jammu and Kashmir National Conference's Communications Department. He's also the Chief Spokesperson. Welcome to the show, Tanvir.
Pleasure is all mine.
Mr. Tanvir, the ruling National Conference, your party went to Delhi on July 20th to press for statehood. The demand was the restoration of statehood. First, tell us what were the positives and what was the idea behind going to Delhi, and how did you find the responses?
First of all, not everything has to be looked in terms of whether it was a positive thing or a negative thing. The fact that something that we had was snatched away, because you have to go in the background if you want an argument based on this. We were promised that statehood would be restored as soon as possible. And if you see what the
Supreme Court.
No, I'll start with the government of India.
Okay.
None less than the Prime Minister of this country said that at an appropriate time the statehood will be restored. Then the Home Minister on the floor of the House said the same thing. In addition to that, what is really important is that the Supreme Court said, where Tushar Mehta said that we will ensure that after three things, that is delimitation, election, and then statehood would be restored. So the J&K, there was elections, there was an overwhelming majority given to the National Conference, and we were not like other political parties that from the day one we would go out and protest. We waited, and we believed that Delhi would honor their words. And this is what, after 1.5 years, the National Conference, when it's in its meeting at Dachigam, felt that we think like 1.5 years is a good enough time to decide whether you should give the statehood to Jammu and Kashmir or not. We have been very cordial, we have been very nice, we have done everything possible to give them a feeling that this is an elected government that wants to work for the people. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. We decided in the Dachigam meeting that we'll go to Delhi. And that is, if you remember, when we came out from the Dachigam meeting, I was the one who addressed the press, and I said, on the first day of the monsoon session, the National Conference will go there. Unfortunately, after a few days or a week, 10 days, the Cockroach Janata Party came out, and they said that they will have a protest at the Jantar Mantar. Now, there were two things, and you have seen Kashmir politics, and you have actually been into all this for a long time. We had two options. Either we had to back out or we had to carry forward with what we had decided. Had we backed out and said, like, maybe we will do it another day, probably you or your friends or our opposition would have said, okay, maybe they have succumbed, maybe they are under pressure, maybe they are not interested. But because it was a decision that was made earlier than the Cockroach Janata Party, we said we'll go ahead with that. And that is why we decided to invite everyone.
So I know before that, Mr. Mustafa Kamal, the uncle of Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, had passed, and you were like busy with condolence meetings. And then the weather conditions also were like very bad in Kashmir and in many parts of Peer Panchal. There were flash floods and landslides and mudslides. So I understand that all the background, but the question that I'm going to ask now is about, was it a deliberate attempt on the part of the National Conference to choose an incremental process? Because you had, I'm aware that you did pass a resolution in the State Assembly as well, and there was a cabinet resolution also. But your critics are targeting you for like this statehood restoration is not the only demand from Jammu and Kashmir, or from the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and also the voters that who placed their faith in the Jammu and Kashmir National Conference in the last elections. So how would you respond to critics who say that it is a climb down? Or is it from your point of view that it is actually you're following a process incremental approach?
There are two things. If you go through our manifesto, where we talk about the restoration of special status, we also talk about the restoration of statehood. And if you remember, like you said, in the first day of our assembly, we passed the resolution for the special status, and then the cabinet passed it too. The fact that you cannot have Article 370 or the special status without the statehood. This is as technical as it can be. Now, would you argue your point of view through a strong level, or you would discuss issues about your state from a weak level. If you have a statehood and if you are a strong state, you will be in a position to then go on to the next step. Now, to win a race, you need to take the first step. Statehood gives us the right to protect our jobs, gives us the right to protect our lands, and this is where we start from. We never said that statehood is the final destination. We have, even after Dachigam, we said statehood and constitutional guarantee. And if you see our videos, we also raised the slogans for our special status in Jantar Mantar. Now, if you're asking me that to get the special status from the same people who took it from us would be actually hoodwinking the people. But because the central government and we have a strong support from the Supreme Court about the statehood, we know that is achievable at this point in time. Now, we never said, and our agenda is very clear, we have not budged an inch from what we have promised in the manifesto or what is the agenda of the National Conference, that we will fight till the last day for our special status. But to get that, I think it is not rocket science to understand that to reach a destination, you need to climb the ladder. And I think statehood is the first step.
So, okay, let's come to two aspects, one by one. Specific one is from the regional point of view, that the parties like the People's Democratic Party, PDP, or the People's Conference led by Sajjad Ghani Lone, or the Apni Party led by Altaf Bukhari, there was a failure on part of the regional parties to form a larger alliance to go to Delhi and press for certain demands together, even if there were differences in point of view what to get first or what else to get, statehood plus. So what was that failure on part of the National Conference also, that you could not convince them to come with you? And second part is that from the Congress also, the regional Congress leaders were with you, but you could not attract people like Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi or Mr. Kharge or other leaders, stalwarts of the Congress. So how do you explain these two?
Two things. It was a very genuine attempt to send letters to everyone who matters in Jammu and Kashmir. When we decided this, we decided that people who have had representation in the assembly even earlier also, we tried to get them also on board. And that is the reason we sent invitation letters to Mirwais Umar Farooq as
even to the Grand Mufti,
as the chairman of the MMU, and then the Grand Mufti, and then all political parties who had presence in the assembly or previously had. Now, if you ask me as a political student, all those people who were a part of the BJP cabinet refused to come to Delhi, and for obvious reasons. Our intention was right. We never wanted to have it. If that was the case, we could have gone. We had 50 MLAs, we could have gone.
So you were saying you tried to build a consensus?
We did.
It was their decision not to go with it?
It was their... See, you can take the horse to the well. You can't make him drink water.
But what about the argument that they are putting forward is that it is actually a climb down from the National Conference?
Like I said, and I'll come back to that point. We have written in the letter, and that is what I've been repeating this, that to get to the special status or whatever was snatched from us, you need to build it up. And that is where, if ever you find one letter where we have said that, we have forgotten the special status, or the letter was only on statehood, I would agree to their point of view. The point that we have time and again said, that this is the first step to get the larger thing to us. Of course, this was why. How can you get Article 370 special status or anything else, or 35A without the statehood?
Okay.
You cannot know. Just to make a point, because you had asked me 2 points.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't even have an advocate general of your own at this point in time. The fact that we sent a report for the reservation, it has not come back. The fact that VCs of different universities are decided by Lok Bhavan. Now, I am asking for special status. Here, even smaller things cannot be done. So for that, you need to get the statehood. And that is why you negotiate from the position of strength, not from the position of weakness. And that is what... To your second point, if you notice the whole thing at Jantar Mantar, when we left Jantar Mantar for constitutional club, because it is just 10 minutes walk from there, But because everybody followed us, even cockroach Janata Party workers followed us, because I don't know, they felt that we were going somewhere. We reached to a spot where there was a barricade, and then the tear gas shell started towards us. And that is the reason the Honorable Chief Minister went into the three-wheeler. Now, from there to the Constitutional Club, every entry was barricaded, sealed. Whether it was the Congress president, whether it was Rahul Gandhi or any other political party, including Akhilesh Yadav, Tejasvi Yadav, everyone wanted to be there. Unfortunately, they couldn't reach that because everything was barricaded, and that is the reason they couldn't reach that.
Okay, let's because you also had the communications wing of the national conference. So I'm asking these questions because you understand what needs to go out and how the communication from the national conference goes to the public. So next question is that there were some allegations of pellet firing even at Jantar Mantar. Some protesters allegedly were targeted with pellets, and it brought back discussions on the use of pellets in Kashmir. And there was a statement or a remark made by the former chief minister about sort of rationalizing the use of force in Kashmir. So how do you respond to that controversial remark? And since Mehbooba Mufti has also sort of apologized, do you accept her apology, or what is your take on this?
See, two things. One, the same person who has been the former chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir was invited to join us for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, she didn't. She went to Jantar Mantar for another cause. Now, if she did, well, very good, she did. But the fact that if she was so sincere, when she was speaking at Jantar Mantar, did you even hear one word about Article 370 special status 35A? No. She talked about everything else except for Jammu and Kashmir. Because if she's talking about that those students were Kashmiris, those students also, the things that we have mentioned, it matters to those students also. So that's number one. Number two, when she came out, she did not utter even one word in favor of Kashmir. She talked about pellets in terms of Delhi. She even went to the extent of saying that I saw a picture where a student is begging. But she does not understand that while she was the chief minister, young 3-year-old girls and boys who were pellet victims, they were also pleading. Did she not remember? She could have even uttered one word for them. But what did she say? She said that when I saw this protest in Delhi, then I compared it in Kashmir, but because there is militancy, wahan banta hai. She used the word banta hai. This is something that gives our adversaries, people who did all this for all these years, a certificate or a weapon to use that against any protesters ever again in Jammu and Kashmir, or to justify what happened in the past. Now, two things very important. There are protests everywhere. Everywhere in the country, there are protests here also. So when the protesters come out, are you telling everyone in this country that the protesters that are on the road are militants? Or if you are telling everyone, and it is a national media, if you're telling them that because on one side there are militants and on other security forces, you can do anything. So anybody protesting anywhere in Kashmir will now be considered as a militant. That's number two. And number three, then her spokesperson comes out and says everything she never said. I can repeat that. You must have also seen the video. She never talked about Kashmir. She only talked Kashmir in the negative way. Now, today she came out with a press conference. Now, there is no if and buts in it. If I have done a mistake, I should own that mistake and say, look here, I did a mistake. I'm really sorry. Now, justifying because I was there, you are the chief minister, you have been the chief minister. You can't be so childish that you were so lost in stuff that you didn't know what you were saying. Either don't talk, or if you talk because whatever you say matters to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, when she came out and said, if somebody has felt bad, I will take my words back.
So now two more things.
No, but I'll add to this. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just, taking it forward. The New York Times during 2016 protests termed the, pellet victims and the pellet horror in Kashmir with a headline which was the epidemic of dead-eye in Kashmir. Or The Guardian actually said that it was world's first mass blinding. And, newspaper was banned. A top human rights, advocate was arrested. Many things happened in 2016. But many things also happened in 2009 and 10. People like Tufail Mattu, teenager, was killed with tear gas shells. and Vamik Farooq, Sameer Ra, other teenagers were killed. So whether it was the National Conference government or the PDP government, there have been sort of protests have been criminalized in Kashmir. So how do you respond to that? And second part of this question is that you also, as a party, first said that you would go and fight a legal battle as far as the restoration of rights is concerned, and sort of saying National Conference will not hit the streets. But now you have also hit the streets. So when did the change of heart or change of mind?
No, there is no change of heart. Now coming back, first because you asked a couple of questions,
yes.
So I'll just
we'll go one by one. Yeah.
Trying to process what all to answer first. But starting with what you talked about 2010. The Chief Minister on record has apologized to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And have you seen anybody else, any leader apologizing? And people have punished us for that in the elections. Now, you learn from the mistakes. And we know there have been mistakes. And if you had seen interviews of the Chief Minister, he every time says that everything, if there is one thing that I can never forget, is that what happened in 2019, and he carries that with him, and he doesn't shy away from saying what is right. That's number one. Number two, you learn from that. Like I said, today there is no ifs and buts. If you did a mistake, say you're wrong and just apologize to the people. Now today she said, Mehbooba Mufti Sahiba, she said that if somebody felt, I take my words back. What about the doodh and toffee remark? What about bringing BJP to Jammu and Kashmir?
So you're saying unconditional apology is not there?
There has to. You are the leader of this state. You represent a political party. You have been the Chief Minister. The fact that you are a leader, I am surprised, because she just pushed one of her MLAs in front of the bus today. Because that poor guy came yesterday out and said that whatever videos that we shared was doctored or AI generated. That was shameful. And he accused National Conference of doing it.
So you're saying if mistakes has happened,
no. First of all,
that
that leader needs to apologize.
Okay.
Because he straight away put fingers on us. Now today, he probably did it to save her leader. Mm-hmm. Now that leader pushed him in front of the bus. That is wrong. You just go out and say, look here, I have nothing else to say, but it was a mistake and I apologize. That is all. Nobody is an angel here. Everybody can commit mistakes. Who doesn't do it?
You have to own up the mistakes.
Of course you do.
And I also interviewed Imran Nabi Dar sometime before for the same program, Kashmir Notebook. And there was this argument, and several National Conference leaders have made this argument that we will not hit the street. We do not believe in street agitation. So what made National Conference go to Jantar Mantar and hit the street when they were saying for a long time that they believe in legal battle?
No, there are two different points. Mm. Protesting in Kashmir is one thing.
Okay.
Protesting in Delhi is another. It was for the first time in the history of Jammu and Kashmir that a political party and a sitting chief minister has gone to Delhi and sat at Jantar Mantar because of something that was snatched from us. Mm-hmm. Now, that was not a normal street protest where you sit there. It was more of sending a message.
Symbolic
as it's sending a message to Delhi, reminding them of the promises that they have made. Mm-hmm. Now, we expect some response from that. If there is no response, we will take another.
So let's come to conclusion now. Two questions again. One is about, now it's been the 7th year. Jammu and Kashmir no longer is a state. Jammu and Kashmir does not have a special status. Jammu Kashmir does not have 370, 35A and even the flag or the constitution. So how will you assure your people, especially the voters who place their faith in your party, giving you an overwhelming mandate, 40 plus seats, and with your allies, you have almost 50 seats, so that whatever has been written in the party manifesto will be achieved? Okay, we understand that 2 years have passed, you still have 3 years to go, that you will get everything that has been snatched and you will keep the promises made in the manifesto.
See, there are two answers to this. One, when BJP put this manifesto, it took them 70 years to do what they did yesterday. You don't expect us to do everything in 1 day or 2 days or a year. It is a process, and we are very strongly behind that process. Now, that said, we have many things, like I was a part of the manifesto committee. We have 13 guarantees and 26 promises. Out of those 13 guarantees, we are trying to help. Like, there are major points in terms of development. There are major points in terms of helping
weaker sections.
We have tried our best. But because in Jammu and Kashmir, if you do not answer things politically, you have not done anything. And that is what the case is. And that's why now is the time, like you said, this is the second year, and we are trying to get our statehood back. We expect the statehood to come back, and then whatever the promises that have been made in the manifesto will be implemented. That said, the battle for special status 35A370
Flag,
is a big
constitution.
one. Is a big one. And we will, National Conference as an agenda which has never changed. What our agenda was 50 years back is today also the same. We do not change colors. We have said what we did earlier, and we are repeating that.
My last question, there's a line in Spider-Man which says, with great power comes great responsibility. So you have 50 seats. And you also sometimes get angry with media persons asking you questions because you have the mandate, and that's where people ask questions to the National Conference and not to the selected Lieutenant Governor or somebody else who does not have the mandate of the people. So my last question from the point of view of the power and responsibility is that your party has a history of 90 plus years. And if we see from 1953 and later in 1964, Kashmir has lost Sadr Riyasat, post of prime minister, there other things have been lost. So what gives you confidence that whatever has been lost since since
I get the
1960s? And the last question, that I have read your 99-2000 autonomy report, which is a very robust and a document that has every single detail. So how would you assure people that National Conference still believes in 1953, pre-1953 status? So
there were too many questions, and then I'll forget.
It's only one question.
No, there are 2-3 questions that I want to answer.
Okay.
To start with, like you said, we are never afraid of questions from independent people like you, who have been very straightforward. But the fact is that even the information department is not with the elected government.
True.
Now, has anybody gone to that unelected people and asked these tough questions to them? Never. You will still find faults in the elected government, which does not have the department under him. This is where we find the distinction, that you need to be strong enough to ask those people also. Why have they... I mean, it's a very simple question. Ask the Home Minister of this country, ask the Prime Minister of this country, ask the LG of this state. Why doesn't the elected government have the powers that the local peoples gave them? The mandate that they have. That's number one. Number two, very important, is that it is not that we do not understand that people on the streets or people who have voted for us do not want what they have voted us for. But there are lots of limitations, and we understand. But that said,
whenever hybrid model.
No, hang on. You spoke about 90 years. Whenever anything was taken away from Jammu and Kashmir, you please read it. National Conference was not in the government. Whenever that happened, the proxies, like they did, the last one was the nail in the coffin when PDP was, and you took 370 and Article 30. That also
65 happened.
Every time happened. Sadr Riyasat till now.
Mid-60s.
Whenever it happened, the National Conference was not in the government. The National Conference has been in the government only for 27 years in total. Not more than that. But because people claim that we had 70 years of government, but that's a debate for another day. I'm not talking, I'm saying just generally, that's a debate for another day. But that said, people have reposed their faith in us. We will try everything possible on this earth that we will ensure what was taken from us is brought back legally, constitutionally, and we will fight a good fight on every platforms that is possible to us.
So thank you very much, Tanvir, for speaking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was the end of the program, the Kashmir Notebook, and we hope that you continue to give us your feedback and tell us how to further improve this program. Thank you for watching.